In this video, we're going to take a look at what modulators are and how you use them in Bitwig Studio. Modulators are a really cool way that has a very unique integration within Bitwig Studio. It sort of makes it feel like it's not just a DAW, but it acts like a modular synth as well. Basically, with modulators, you can have these little icons here and you can choose that to modulate any parameter. So basically, you can modulate any parameter on an instrument or a device in the signal chain. And it just gives you this very creative modular workflow within Bitwig Studio. So let's take a look at how this is done. First, I'm going to create a new instrument. So I'm going to click here to add a new instrument, bring up the browser. I'll go to Instrument, Bitwig Devices, and I want to look for the sampler. Let's use the sampler for this. So I'm going to go Sampler, click OK. Now I need to load up a preset so that we've got a sample that's loaded into the sampler. So I'm going to click over here and I'm going to navigate to a pad. And a nice pad that I like to use is this pad over here, Pad Fellows Clean. Okay, so quite a simple patch, but let me show you now how we can modulate. So if you look down over here, you get this little button here. And what this does is it opens up a modulation parameter, and you've got 3 different panels where you can add modulation. I'm going to click here, and you can choose what type of modulator you want to use. And as you can see, there's quite a selection of modulators that you can use from. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these in detail. I just want to use a basic modulator like an LFO, which is a low frequency oscillator, which uses a low frequency to modulate another parameter. So I'm going to use that and click OK. So now you can see the modulator. So that's a low sine frequency, and this can modulate any parameter. Now, what I want to do is modulate the pitch. So take a listen here. This is the synth. And if I do this, I can modulate that pitch. So what I need to do is click here. And then what I do is I can choose the parameter. But as you can see, if you look on there, there's an up and down arrow. So I can choose which direction I want to modulate it. So if I drag up, you can see it's creating some modulation and a percentage of it. Now listen as it modulates the repitch speed. Let's try some other settings. But I don't want it so drastic. So what I'm going to do is just pull this dial down a bit. So the repitching and speed is very minimal. I can click this again if I want to do some editing. So I don't want it so drastic. I want it really about +5. Let's do something very minimal. So I want this sort of just wobbly synth. Also, you'll notice if I click here, I can see further settings. So I can change the speed of the LFO. That's faster, or make it even slower. And then here are just different shapes, but I don't need to get into detail on that. I just wanted to show you that you go in further to make some extra details. Now, if I don't like this LFO or I want to turn it off, I can just right click and untick active so it's deactivated. Now let's try to do something else. Over here is a glide parameter. I play higher up, and this is all the way down. So it glides into the notes. Now let's modulate that as well. I'll click here, and for this, I want to add an ADSR. So that's like an envelope that I want to add. So it's got an envelope shape. If you click here, you can see you've got an attack, a hold, a decay, a sustain, and release. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points that you can adjust to change the shape of the modulation that's going to be happening. And I want to modulate the glide. So I'll just drag up, and now you can see the movement here. If I slow down that attack, Maybe increase that more. Or play higher up. And let's let go of that and adjust. So you can just go in and make changes as necessary. Maybe pull it the other way and see what happens. So you just got some slight movements on there. If I pull this attack closer, it's going to happen faster. Now, let's activate both. So what we've got now is we've got a LFO that's doing the repitching of the audio and an AHDSR envelope that is altering the glide. Let's just double check. Is that going? Yeah, it's going there. So let's see this happen now in action. Now we've got this. Now, how about after this, adding a reverb? So I'm going to go to the audio effects, Bitwig devices, and reverb, and I'm going to add this reverb over here from Bitwig. I'm just going to minimize this so I can see just the reverb. And what you'll also notice is that you can also add modulation on audio effects. So let's try something out here. I want to get an even more warblier analog sounding synth. So what I'm going to do is modulate the wet dry mix with a beat LFO. So click here, and a beat LFO has got a more constant rhythmic factor to it. So as you can see, I can check the shape over here, and you can change the musical timing and the different shape of the wave. So I'm going to modulate the mix. So that is the mix. After I've made the changes, I can decide if I want to pull this back, and you can still see that modulation amount. So now watch this on the mix. I can speed up the timing. Or speed it up. So here's slow again, and here's faster. So quite interesting. So as you can see, you've got a lot of control of how you can move parameters, going from the modulation of the instrument here through to an audio effect. So as you can imagine, any device that you add within your signal chain can be modulated. And as you go through this video series and you see me adding more videos, you'll see how other things are modulated. Now let's move over on the next video to something else where we're going to be talking about note expression.